review, probably about a week late. I was planning on doing this last week or earlier this week, but yes, well, I was planning on doing earlier this week, and well, the black hole of death, it's called Grand Theft Auto 4, yeah, happened. So yeah, I've been kind of busy. That and 2 weeks ago, lost my save for Oblivion, and yeah, had to completely start over on that game as well. Which, if you've ever played Oblivion, you know is not fun when you're trying to do everything in the game. But beside the point. Enough geekiness. Let's get into more geekiness. Let's get into wrestling geekiness. Let's get on to talking about the show. This review will be a little different. I'm not going to go through all of the matches like I normally do, due to the fact that, well, there's 14 matches and there's lots of other things I would much rather talk about on this DVD than trying to cram as much info as I can on the matches. For those of you not aware of what this is, why they called it double feature was basically because this was the night that they did the tapings, also the movie tapings for The Wrestler, and so keeping with the theme of movies, they did double features similar to the Grindhouse movies, where it was supposed to be a double feature. So that's why you had the double feature thing. Basically, what it is 2 nights that were in Dover, and I would really hope that they do this again, because I really kind of like the idea of this. There wasn't, I'd be honest, there was maybe one great match on this whole card, but there was nothing that I would say totally stunk up the place either. Even the bad matches that were quote-unquote bad matches on this card still were very story line driven. There was a lot of storytelling, there was a lot of storyline involvement on both of these cards and throughout this DVD. And I'm not going to review both nights, which I know a lot of reviewers do, because I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to do 2 reviews of the same show and then give the DVD basically 2 scores. I've never quite understood that. Don't understand why you do that. Do each disc, do each night. Never comprehend why people do that, but apparently they do. Like I said, there's nothing bad on this card, I would say, on either of these DVDs, but there's maybe one great match on here that I would say you might want to go out of your way to see. But overall, it's still fairly good. A lot of fun, particularly given the fact that this was definitely a different crowd than Ring of Honor usually is in front of. Lots of kids, given the fact that it was a movie taping, and a bit different atmosphere. So which was kind of interesting to see with the whole movie thing going on. The whole reason why they were there was they were supposed to kind of add, in between them filming the movie, they were supposed to kind of keep the crowd alive and keep the crowd into it, so the crowd would be more realistic for the movie. That's why Ring of Honor kind of tagged along for this. And I think by the sounds of things, they did a pretty good job if what was going on during the Ring of Honor matches was going on during the movie. The other thing that is very noticeable on this DVD is the production values are a little higher than you usually see. There's an entrance ramp, there's an actual stage, it looks really good. I hope Ring of Honor was able to use that more often because it was really cool. There was also, they were using a slightly, and maybe I've just never noticed it before, maybe I just noticed it here, but it looked like they were definitely using a better camera for the wide shots than using the handhelds up close, but there was definitely a change in quality between the two, and that kind of got on my nerves a little bit, though I think it got to the point where I kind of got used to it and didn't notice it as much, but it was something I noticed. There is 14 matches on this card, so on this DVD, so there's a lot on this DVD, and so it is a fairly good packed DVD. I would like to see Ring of Honor do this again, if they ever get the opportunity, because I do think it's kind of a fun thing to see. I also think it's a good jumping off point, starting point for people who want to kind of get into Ring of Honor without kind of doing a best of, and just a show that they can kind of jump onto, because it really felt like when I was watching it, it really felt very much like a TV taping, and that's not a bad thing, because it kind of felt like that. There was a lot of storyline development, sort of that thing. Storyline development looked like it took precedence over the wrestling, which is something you don't normally see in Ring of Honor, but it is important. And it wasn't so much that it kind of, oh, well, let's forget about the matches and not put on good matches. It wasn't that. It was just that, that took a little bit more precedent. It added to some of the matches. Didn't really take away from any of the matches. I would say it added to, well, it's not some. I would say it added to all of the matches, and even the matches that I would say were subpar actually it added a little bit more to them to make them a little bit more enjoyable. Like I said, the crowd was a little different. There was a lot of kids, a lot of people you could just see when they came through the crowd, not your normal Ring of Honor crowd, which was kind of good to see. It was kind of interesting to see because the guys were having to, play a little bit more to the crowd than they normally do. It wasn't people familiar with Ring of Honor, so it wasn't like you didn't have a lot of people who knew that, okay, this guy's a face, this guy's a heel, cheer this guy, don't cheer this guy, or do you even do the heel face thing, which is something, Ring of Honor doesn't. They do, but not to a great deal. They did a little bit more of that. They were playing to the, mainly because you had a lot of kids in the crowd, which is kind of fun to see, kind of different to see, as one of the things that the more astute critics, or I shouldn't say astute, but the critics that I usually give a little more precedent to about Ring of Honor, that's one of the things they usually kind of gripe about, is that you don't have that old school kind of heel versus face booking, which a lot of people have noted if they really plan on doing a lot of more southern shows, they're probably going to have to do that because that's a very southern thing, and the more southern crowds buy into that a little bit more. That they want that heel face kind of interaction, or at least that's always been the theory. I don't necessarily fall into that, but that's always kind of been the theory, and there is a little bit of truth to it, I would say. Not completely, though. I still think if you put on a good match, they're not going to really care. Other than that, like I said, not a lot of bad matches. You can see the star ratings in the comment section. It definitely would be something. There's a lot on this DVD that I definitely would like to see Ring of Honor continue to do. The production values were definitely better on this than you normally see. It's probably had a lot to do with the movie crew being there, but definitely it was kind of cool to see. Though there's rumors at the Hammerstein show, which I'm doing this before this review, before the Hammerstein show, there's already rumors coming out that that's going to be a pretty high production-wise show, which I would love to see more of. And like I said, this had a very TV taping feel to it, which was kind of cool to see. And definitely, if Ring of Honor plans on doing more of that, i.e. a TV, or even better, in my opinion, an internet show would be good as well. It'd be nice to see, because I definitely think it showed that they could do such a thing, in my opinion, particularly back-to-back nights like this. The match of, I would say, both nights was definitely the tag match with McGuinness, Go, Aries, and Danielson, which probably isn't too big of a surprise. But there was lots of other good things on here. There was a few, 3.5-star matches on here, and a lot of 3-star matches. So definitely stuff that I think most people would enjoy. And like I said, this is a very good DVD if you just kind of want to start with Ring of Honor and kind of have a good jumping off point. I think this is a great DVD for that. I wouldn't give this a recommend, though. I'd give it a 7.75, almost there, simply because you have so much wrestling on one DVD. I do think that it is somewhat worth the buy because of that, because you do get a lot of wrestling on the DVD, and I did feel I did feel that even though the match quality wasn't there, the overall show felt pretty good to me. So I would almost get a recommend, but not quite. So there you go with that. And that is all for this one for now. My next ROH review will probably be the WrestleMania weekend shows. Probably, I'm hoping. Ordered those today, so I'm hoping those will be the next. Those should be here quite soon. I would love to be able to come on here and do a review of the Hammerstein show, but I'm not going to be able to go due to money issues, which is really pissing me off. But oh well, what are you going to do? To everyone that's going to the Hammerstein show, have a great and fabulous time. It looks like it's going to be an amazing show from everything I've seen and some things I've heard that might happen at the show. It sounds just downright spectacular, and I might give my thoughts on it before the show actually happens. But anyways, I'm out. Have a good one. Later.